Hey there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. For those of you that are new here, Sat Chat is just a weekly catch-up, chitty chat video, part of the community. If you want to be part of the community, we'd love to have you. Check out the comments below. Everyone's usually having really great conversations, and I hope you are having a great weekend. As always, I'm filming this on Friday. It's Friday afternoon at 3:33 exactly in the afternoon. That's going to be a lucky number, I think. I'm going to say it's lucky. This has been a very productive week, and I'm so thankful for that because I feel like I've been on borrowed time for the past month and a half. Ever since my dad went to the hospital at the beginning of October, I've gone down on weekdays to visit, and he's back home now. He is doing better, and I'm going to go down tomorrow, which will actually be today, the day you're watching this, to spend the day. So I took the week. And I'm like, I'm going to focus. I am going to get a bunch of things done that I want to have done before Thanksgiving, and I accomplished everything I wanted to get done, which never happens. Usually I have like these lofty goals and I get like 80%, but I actually finished everything that I wanted to get done this week. So I'm just feeling so good about that. And one of the biggest things that I got done, the thing that was like my priority that I would get done, was to get some new stuff for 2025 in my hand-painted holiday class. So if you are enrolled in hand-painted holiday class, even if you bought it when I first launched it 6 years ago, you can log in and find a bunch of new projects. And some of them I have teased right here. Well, not that one. That's the Gouache project from Wednesday. That's on my YouTube channel. But I did a bunch of different designs that you can use, and a treat box. So there's a pattern for a little tiny treat box that you can resize, but because there's an SVG file if you have a die cutter, and then there's also a printable PDF. The PDF will make a box this size, which is big enough for a gift card or a small treat, or if you like to make fudge, you could definitely make fudge, wrap it in like parchment paper and put it in this box. Super fun. But then I showed you a bunch of very easy, quick and easy to paint designs. I think every project, like each little motif that we're painting, is between 5 and 15 minutes. And I mean, there's like a couple motifs in each little lesson, so it's definitely stuff you can paint. I made this stack of Christmas cards that are here. I'll show you. Let's see. Oh, I love this one. You know, I'm just very, very easy, very quick. Because I mean, if I had my ideal life and I was on the ball, I would have my addition to Hand Painted Holiday every year done by November 1st, so people had a little bit more time to work on it. But I feel like I've been behind the 8 ball all year. So getting this up late, I'm like, well, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and actually I've gotten asked quite a few times if I was going to add anything to Hand Painted Holiday this year. I've never promised that I would do it every year, but I just like to. I like to have that little extra thing, like, hey, you bought this thing, here's something else that you can check out without having to pay any more. And if anybody wants to enroll in Hand Painted Holiday, I will put it 50% off for the next couple weeks. I'll figure out what the coupon code and everything in the video description. I haven't done that yet, but it'll be there. I'll probably have it on sale for like 2 weeks or so if you want to grab it for 50% off and join in the fun. There's 6 years of holiday projects in there, and it's mostly watercolor, and it's just fun, easy, like cards you can paint. A lot of cards, hand-painted cards, hand-painted ornaments, that sort of thing. But yeah, if I was on the ball, I'd have that out by November 1st. But my fall class launched late, and I just got behind. Anyway, that's up, and I will email everybody in the class anyway. I should say, it should be all up and published by the time Sat Chat goes up, but I will be away all Saturday, so if it's not up yet, it will be by Sunday afternoon. So just to give myself a little breathing room in case it doesn't it doesn't go that swiftly as I plan. I still have to edit some clips, but yes, very happy with that because the projects are fun and they're easy and they're cute. There's stuff you could do with your friends and family. That's something I really like with Hand Painted Holidays, to make it so people can do it with friends and family. And yeah, I think it ticked those boxes. It was definitely, I was not stressed. I was not stressed making these projects and doing them, and that's a good sign, I think. Because sometimes you can make something look easy, but you're kind of like stressed out planning it, but that was not the case here. And what else is new? Oh, my brushes with craft ammo are going to be back in stock next week. So I've had some people ask me when they're coming back because they want to buy them for holiday presents, and they will be back next week. I will I'll put a link to it in the video description, and you can, you know, keep an eye out for them. They are not doing as big of a run this time as they did last time. I think they did 1,000 last time, and I think now they'll do about 300. So, if you do want them, just, you know, snag them, but no pressure, you know. Obviously, don't buy something just because, you know, you're afraid it's going to run out. They're just brushes after all. It's not like, you know, life-saving medication or anything. They're paintbrushes, but I think they're good paintbrushes, and they're in a beautiful box, so they are really nice for gifting. Oh, speaking of craft ammo, I will be unboxing, Emma LaFave did an advent calendar this year, and I will be unboxing that next week. I think I'll be doing it the day after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, that's a week from Friday. Yeah, that's next Friday. What day is it? What is life? Next Friday. So if you're curious about what's in the advent calendar, you can check out that video. Or if you don't want to know, then don't check out that video because there'll be obviously spoilers. But that was kind of fun because I like to watch people unbox advent calendars. I don't know what it is because, like, when I was a kid, I loved those little chocolate advent calendars, you know, and you open up a little door every day. I always thought they were such a kick, and I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to get an art supply one. But the art supply ones are so expensive that it's kind of like, you know, you don't know if you really, you know, want to go for it. But I think I get as much pleasure watching somebody else open it up than I would if I bought it and opened it up myself. So that's usually what I do. I found quite a few stationery unboxings lately, like they're unboxing a stationery advent calendar. And I think that's really, I don't know, I'm just nosy. I just like to see what's in those advent calendars, but I have no desire to buy them myself. So it's kind of like a little vicarious thing. But I wanted to warn you in case you bought that advent calendar and you're doing it day by day and you don't want to know. There's nothing on the thumbnail or anything that would show you what's in it. So just spoiler alert on that one. Oh, I did have something really interesting. I posted it yesterday. I received a box from Ohuhu, like a thank you holiday gift box, and there were some new products in there, including a new version of the Honolulu markers called the Honolulu Pro, and it's got the foam rubber nibs like Copic markers. So that's exciting. They're not out yet, but they're coming out, and I asked the person that sent it to me from Ohuhu if I could share the news and share the unboxing, and they said I could, so I did that. They actually have some other really cool stuff coming too that I saw in the new catalog that was in the box, so it looks like they are really pulling out all the stops next year. So for any marker enthusiasts out there, that will be interesting to you. I hope the water pump isn't too loud or hearable on the camera. And what else? Oh, my stencils. This is just a big shameless plug. I'm so sorry. The stencils, my Sketchbook Floozy stencils, there's going to be a Black Friday coupon code that I'm going to share. I think it might, I don't know if it'll be active today or if it will be active starting tomorrow, but I'm just going to put it in the video description. I just want to let you know now in case you were like thinking about doing some Black Friday shopping so that you would have it if you wanted it. No pressure, obviously. But I'm going to put that in the video description as well. All right. Hey, yeah, I also posted oh no, I haven't posted it yet. Monday, I'm posting the review preview. I filmed it. It was on my list. It was one of the things I wanted to get done this week, because last week, remember, I asked you if you wanted me to do a review preview where I just showed all the things that I have on deck to review and you can tell me what to do first. That's coming up Monday. So if you, I just asked people to, well, obviously the video's not up yet, but on the video I asked people to pick their top 3 products that they want to see reviewed, rather than just pick one. I figured pick 3. It's a little bit more like ranked choice voting, and you know, I can kind of get a good feel for like what the top most interested product is, because if everybody picks number 1 for the first thing, it's like, okay, I got my first thing, now what do I do? That would be a little bit easier. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if there are any products that nobody picks, which it could be. It could be. Who knows? Who knows? But I'll start picking away on those videos soon. But I'm feeling a huge sense of relief. It's funny, do you ever do that, like put these obligations on yourself that probably you don't have to do, really. Probably not many people would even notice or care if you didn't do them, but like you have this, like there's this part of your moral compass, part of the fiber of your being is like, no, I want to do this. This is a commitment I made to myself, and I want to do this. And I feel like that's what like getting the hand-painted holiday extras out every year is. It's like, yeah, I never promised I would. I don't have to, but like it's part of like my moral fiber that I want to have. I want to do that. It's like I promised myself I was going to do that every year, so I want to do that. You know, isn't that so funny? It's speaking of speaking of things we try to do to improve ourselves, I downloaded Google Fit onto my phone because I was thinking I wish I had a pedometer that would like track my steps, because I've always been curious, like, how many steps do I get when I walk the dog in the morning? I know it varies because sometimes we walk further and sometimes less, and we walk in different directions, and we go on different paths, we take different trails in the woods, and it's like I have no idea, because I'd read another one of those like articles like why would 10,000 steps is like where that number came from and why it's actually kind of an arbitrary number. It's actually more like 7,500 steps, but 10,000 steps is nice and round and it's easy to sell, you know, basically. And then depending on your age and your fitness level, you know, your step level may vary. But anyway, I was thinking, oh, I wish I had something like a pedometer or something like that. And somebody was telling me that your phone probably has one in it already that just like does that in the background. So I was looking at my settings to see if I had something like that that could tell me my whole history of how much I walk every day. Wouldn't that be awesome? And then I could see a little graph. I love a little satisfying graph, you know, of my accomplishments. I want to see a graph of my accomplishments. So I looked in the settings, there was nothing, but there was a free app called Google Fit, and I'm like, well, I'll get that because I have an Android phone, and so that's just running on the background. But the thing I noticed now that I know I have that on my phone, I'm always setting my phone down and going about my business, and then I'll be like setting my phone down, I'll go do some chores or whatever, then I'm like, I didn't have my phone in my pocket, now none of those steps counted, what's it even for, what is like, you know, I get so mad. It's like, those steps, I want my steps back, I want credit, for those steps. So I haven't looked back at it. I think it'll be cool to look at it in like a week or two and then see like a satisfying graph for one, and just kind of like see how much I walk a day. I have no idea. I really don't. So that's going to be really fascinating, I think. And it's not annoying like MyFitnessPal was. Like MyFitnessPal will be checking in like, you haven't tracked your lunch yet, you haven't tracked your breakfast. I'm like, listen, I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. MyFitnessPal. We're going to Google Fit. We're going to see how that goes. Because, you know, we're all on a journey. We all try to improve a couple percent a day, right? You try to do a couple percent, 1% of improvement a day by the end of the year. I mean, that's what, 365% improvement? That's pretty good. I don't know if that's how it works or not, but hey. It's kind of like, you know, when you when you go to the store, like the craft stores will have these sales where it will be like, this will be 40% off, and then there's a 20% off your total purchase. So it's like, I just saved 60%, but it's not quite 60% because it's 40% off of off the price, but then it's like 20% off the discounted price. So it's not 60%, but you know, so I don't know what improving 1% a day for a year actually pans out to be percentage wise, but I know it's good. It's better than bad. I don't know. Did I put anything on my list today? I'm just winging it. I'm winging it. Oh, I'm winging it. But oh my gosh. Okay, so I watched a movie. My husband and I watched, he bought this 2 DVD set. It was like I don't know, or Blu-ray, I don't know. It was some collector's edition. He's kind of getting into the physical media thing. There's been a whole trend online, like people saying, you gotta have physical media, you gotta own it, because if you own it online, you don't really own it, you gotta get the DVD. And he's been collecting DVDs. And he got Blade Runner, and then the new Blade Runner. So there was a Blade Runner from the 80s with Daryl Hannah and Harrison Ford, and then there was new Blade Runner, which also had Harrison Ford, and gosh, I can't remember who else was in it, but Ryan Gosling or Reynolds, one of the Ryans. I think it was the Ryan that was in Barbie, and Ryan Gosling maybe, and so we watched Blade Runner, and in my mind, the movie Blade Runner was going to take place on rollerblades. That's like, I had this like Daryl Hannah on rollerblades. That's what, and Harrison Ford, I figured he was like chasing around people on rollerblades. That was the premise of Blade Runner in my mind. And I'm watching this, I'm like, hon, I thought there would be more rollerblades here. He's like, oh, that's in the sequel. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're watching the second movie, I'm like, when did the rollerblades come? It's like, I'm sorry, there's no rollerblades. It's like, yeah, we're telling your dog you're going to the vet, or telling your dog you're going for a walk, and they take him to the vet, you know? That's all right. I love sci-fi. But I was expecting rollerblades, what can I say? And I'm kind of looking forward to just chilling out tonight because I saw on Hulu the new Aliens movie is on, and that was just, I think, released this year. So that's exciting. I don't know how I missed it. I'll usually see like an alien movie at the movie theater. So we missed it somehow. Probably This year has flown by, I'm sure. It's probably something like that. I'm trying to think, what's the last time we saw in the movie theater? Furiosa, maybe? I don't know. I like a dystopian sci-fi movie. What can I say? I love the dystopia. Okay, I really don't have too much on my list here. What did I do for a video this week? I'm trying to think. See, I did this in gouache. I used the Art Whale gouache for this. Actually, yeah, I used the Art Whale gouache for this. It worked out really well. And one of the negative parts to that, and by the way, I actually did this, and then I painted a couple little ornaments, and I realized, I really don't like painting ornaments. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just not my, it's just not my thing. You know, we all have our things, but they worked. The gouache worked really well for painting wooden ornaments. So I just want to throw that out there in case you like to paint ornaments with kids and you don't want to have acrylic paint. You're worried about things getting ruined with acrylic paint. Try using gouache. And the jelly gouache is so affordable. You get so much in those little cups. They're very opaque. They cover really well. You don't need multiple coats. So I want to throw that out there for anybody that likes to paint ornaments with kids. I think this would work well. It works well on the wood. It also would work really well on ceramic or those plaster ornaments, you know, you can get at the dollar store and stuff. So I want to put that out there. And then if they do start to dry out, if the paint starts to dry out, you can always add water and stir them up and get them, revive them again. So I thought that was pretty cool. But actually, for full disclosure, I did film the review for the Art Whale gouache already, so that will be in a couple of weeks. But anyway, I really liked that paint. It worked really well, very high coveraging, but there was no pigment information with the gouache. But then I was looking on Amazon today, because Art Whale's had a lot of their stuff on sale for Black Friday. I did a big Black Friday list on the community tab on my YouTube channel. So if you click my channel name under the video, and then you click on, it'll take you to like the main page on YouTube. Then on my main page, then if you click community, you might have to scroll over. There, you scroll down a post or two. There's a big Black Friday list, and there were stores that are having big sales, like some stores are having like 20% off everything, and then there were some specific products that I found that were really good deals. By the way, I saw a really good deal on Copic Chow markers. They had the 72 set for $130 and the 24 set for like $47 on Amazon. It's Amazon Japan. I've ordered a couple things through the Amazon Japan store on just the regular Amazon. Like this is just, you just go to the regular Amazon, free shipping, and everything's come swiftly and in good condition. So I just want to put that out there. But that's an unreal price for Copic Chows. That's half of the price at Blick. And hasn't been the issue with the Chows caps making the markers dry out like the sketch markers. So I'll put the link to that mark, because it was one listing and you could choose a 72, but I think there's only one left of the 72, but they had plenty of the 24 sets. And I know a lot of teenagers put Copic markers on their Christmas list, and that's just unbelievable price for Copics. So I just want to put that there in case anybody was looking, because they're so expensive. And I know you want to get your kids what they want, but sometimes it's like, man, I can't spend $700 on markers, or you know, whatever it is. I think it's great that there's so many people online using Ohuhu now, like Jazza. He's such an influential artist, especially for young people, and him switching over to Ohuhu, I think is going to really be good for parents, because parents can have a break on what they're paying for markers if they want to get the kids markers, because the kids will start asking for Ohuhu eventually. But anyway, I just want to put that out there. But anyways, I put this big Black Friday list together, and I was looking at that gouache because I wanted to see, I was upstairs, I didn't have the paint in front of me, and I wanted to see the color swatch, and I was looking at the reviews, and there was one reviewer that actually had gotten the pigment and lightfast information from Art Whale, and they had all the pigments listed down. Unfortunately, many of the pigments were not super light fast, so you know, I'm using it in a sketchbook. I'm not worried about that too much, but that was kind of a bummer. I wish that the pigments were a little bit more were a little bit more robust, but I'm wondering if those pigments get used a lot in gouache because I see it in the Winsor Newton gouache too, the designer's gouache, and I'm wondering if those pigments get used more in gouache because they're naturally more opaque and naturally more matte. versus like, you know, your quinacridones, which are naturally very transparent. Your phthalos, very transparent, tend to get that shine to them really easily. So I think that might be why it's just easier to produce that. I mean, just the quality of the paint was excellent, but I am bummed that like it's probably not going to be the most light fast. Although I might do a little light fast test just so I could see like what my personal fading susceptibility would be here, because we're not, I mean, I'm in Maine, pretty far away from the equator. We don't get a ton of sun, you know, so I might do a little test like I did with my shin hand gouache, because I liked it a lot, but I was really worried about some of the colors that were in there. Thinking they looked a little sus. But the only thing that faded was actually a violet that the pigment shouldn't have faded that they used for it, but it did. So there could have been some mislabeling as well. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about pigments lately because I was using Holbein at that workshop weekend before last, and some of those colors, and that's something I noticed about the Holbeins that I already had. A lot of the colors were mixed pigments, and I kind of poo-pooed the paint because they were mixed pigments, and that's why I think that's part of the reason I didn't use them very much. And then I was looking at the paints we used there, and I'm like, yeah, a couple of them were mixed pigments, but they were still super vibrant. And then those Michael Harding colors that a viewer made a little palette for me, many of those were all mixed pigments, and they were so transparent and so luminous that I think that we've kind of thrown the baby out with bathwater in the pigment debate, and now a lot of companies are putting pigment information on their paints, regardless if it's correct pigment information or not, but not disclosing that there's tons of fillers in some of these paints. It's like, how come this single pigment color is not as vibrant as this mixed pigment color from Holbein or from Michael Harding or from whatever? You know, and I think like when we first started hearing about Daniel Smith and the addition of pigments to their Primatech, like natural stones that they were using for those paints, like to get the vibrancy they needed, you know, a lot of us were upset about that, and myself included. But then it's like, well, if it got us the color that we wanted, and we were perfectly happy with the paint until we knew that, is it really a problem? So I'm kind of rethinking my whole stance on pigments. And is it really that important? I mean, I think it's important that we know what the light fastness is of it, and if we can't reliably trust what a light fastness rating is, if we know what the pigment used is, we have a good basis for it. But how much of the information can we trust? How many, you know, it's like, what companies can we trust that they're putting out accurate pigment information? I mean, there are some paint sets that are made by Superior, which I'm pretty sure they've just copied the pigment information from Paul Rubens, because the paints don't look at all the same, but you can see where they it almost looks like they pulled the set together from like a Paul Rubens set and then copied the pigment information, but it's like, yeah, that's not cobalt teal at all. You know, you swatch some of those colors out, you're like, no, that's just not right. So I kind of wonder about that. And I just, you know, it's just another layer of making sure that I'm doing my due diligence when I'm reviewing products that other people are going to consider buying. You know, buying something for my own personal use to play with, that's fine. I'm taking the risk. I'm buying it. I'm going to play with it, whatever. But if you're going to recommend something, which I'm always really careful about what I recommend, but you want to really make sure that you know what you're talking about. There's a lot of, and I like, look, I just unboxed Ohuhu markers yesterday, and I'm going to unbox an advent calendar next week, so it's not like I am, you know, up on a pedestal being all perfect, but there's a lot of just like unboxing products, swatching it, and then that's it, and then there's no deep dive, there's no artwork created, there's nothing else done with a product that somebody's recommending, and there's so much out there now. There's so much out there now that's not good enough, but I think it's getting worse because there's so much out there now. People are rushing through so many reviews to try to get more stuff, to put more stuff out. I don't know. Maybe it's just I've had a super busy, productive week, and I'm just thinking, wow, this is insane. Or maybe because I did the review preview, I'm thinking, well, this level of amount of stuff is a lot. But then again, I also love trying stuff out and finding the similarities and finding what products are the exact same product as something that's 3 times the price, because there's only so many factories making stuff. If it's not from a legacy brand, even if it is from a legacy brand, a lot of times the student grade lines are made from private label companies. And, you know, just keep people from overpaying or keep people from buying the same thing 3 times. It's, I don't know, it's a responsibility. I enjoy it. I enjoy trying it out. But yeah, there's something to think about. Pigments. The more you know, the more you know. But I really guess I didn't really have too much to talk about. It seems like if I've really got my nose to the grindstone, I don't have too much to talk about. Now, I do not remember what my review on Monday was. Isn't that wild? I don't remember. Well, if you're curious, you could click on my channel name and go see what I posted on Monday. It was a review of some sort, and I do not remember what it was. Oh, I have I have a couple of videos coming, actually quite a few videos coming out this week. I've got a video next week on how much paint is in an empty tube. I talked about that last weekend because I thought I was going to post it yesterday, like on Friday, but I didn't. I switched some stuff around. So that's going to be coming out next week, the review preview. Then it's Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'll have a video up on Thanksgiving. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I have stuff scheduled out into the future, but my brain's a little fried right now. It's Friday afternoon and about to call it a week, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that of note. No, not really. I guess the big thing is the hand painted holiday. That's what I've been working on the most this week. And I mean, I love these cute little ideas. We're making a lot of our own stamps by taking folded paper and just kind of making a little stamp that we can dip into paint and to start our designs with. That's kind of fun. Stamping with some found objects with our watercolor paint. So you don't need to have there's no special tools required. It's all your basic watercolor supplies, watercolor paper, whatever watercolor brushes you like, whatever watercolor paints you like. I'm using the same ones I've been using in hand painted holiday, so there would be that consistency. So I'm using like Winsor & Newton pan paints and Paul Rubens metallic pan paints. Credit card scraper, I mean, household stuff. It's nothing too, nothing you have to buy extra, basically. But I think the ideas it will generate from this class, I think you'll be making piles and piles and piles of cards and tags and gift boxes and stuff, just because it's one of these things that I found with these projects I was doing, one thing would lead to another. Like I would do, an easy little tree, and it's like, oh, what if I do this as a tag? What if I do it this way? What if I add, and I would just start, like, it would just snowball. And I love projects like that because that's when you can put on a Christmas movie, you can get your supplies out, and you can just play. And you're doing practical, productive play, because whatever you end up with at the end of your session is going to be stuff you're going to use within the next month. So it's not like you're just going to make a stockpile of cards that you're never going to use. You're going to have a stockpile of cards that you'll need to mail out in a week, or a stockpile of tags that you'll be tying onto gifts in a couple of weeks, or gift boxes that you'll be putting gifts in a couple of weeks. And I think if we can take our hobbies and find a practical aspect for it, then first of all, we'll do it because we're actually getting something off of our list done, and then we feel a lot better about doing. Sometimes I think we feel guilty about the time we spend on our hobbies. And if you can have a practical aspect of it, then there's no need to feel guilty about it, right? Sometimes we feel guilty about the supplies that we have or the time that we spend. And you know what? I was looking at Vistaprint, so I was gonna just have a painting printed for my card, and it's gotten so expensive that I'm just like, I'd rather just hand paint them or collage them or something, because I mean, to spend over $1 to mail a piece of paper, I might as well make it better than that. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. All the links of stuff I mentioned are in the video description. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.